Good morning and welcome back. Bring your hands together, close your eyes, turn your attention inwards, bring your awareness to your breath. Long, slow breath deep into your belly, and even longer, slower breath out. And twice more. And we'll open with 3 ohms. Exhale, inhale. Om. Inhale. Om. Inhale. Open your eyes, release your hands. This morning we're concentrating on the second chakra.
Svadhisthana.
Is seated in around where our sexual organs are, and it is the source of our creativity. So Muladhara is what makes us grounded in life.
Svadhisthana.
Enables us to bring forth our individuality, but to bring it forth in the form of a passion or with authenticity and integrity. How can we live that? And in these times when many of us are on our own at home and perhaps our creativity has been stifled due to being unable to get out and about, now we must look within ourselves and see how we can bring forth that creativity, that juice in life. It's associated with the kidneys and with the flow, and for me it's when I follow my curiosity. I'm curious about something and I begin to look at it and read it and take more interest in something, and then from that it develops more into a passion if I follow it to where it's meant to bring me or where it wants to manifest itself, and from that passion it becomes part of my identity. So this is exactly what happened for me in yoga. I was curious about it, I dibbled around in it, got more and more interested, became my passion, and then suddenly it was my life, and it is my life and will continue to be my life into the foreseeable future. So we have a beautiful practice, a hip opening practice, because it's based deep down below our abdominal area, and I hope you enjoy it. Welcome to the mat. So moving into Bakasana, bound angle pose. Bring the soles of your feet together. Allow the top of your feet to open like a book. Hold on to your ankles, lift your chest, stretch your spine. Push your sit bones into the floor. Stretch from your heels to under your armpits. And close your eyes, and we're going to have a minute or two of meditation on how we can follow our passion, our dreams, our desires, and make that an intention for your practice. Opening your eyes, release your ankles and make your way into double diamond. Come and lie on your backs. Place your heels in front of your hips. Walk your feet out to the edges of the mat and allow your knees to come down towards the right. Place your arms behind you as if in goalpost arms. Turn your palms up. Lift your head off the floor and look away from your knees and place your head back on the floor. Inhale your knees back to centre and exhale them to the other side, turning your head away from your knees. Inhale your knees back to centre, stretch your legs out in front on the floor, bring your arms to your sides. Moving into bridge pose, place your heels in front of your hips on the floor. Inhale, lift your hips up, clasp your hands together, interlace your fingers and place your heels on the floor. Hello, Tusi. Pressing down with your heels, lift your hips even higher. Lower your hips to the floor, rolling your spine down vertebrae by vertebrae. And relax. And stretch your legs out in front of you. Moving into leg lifts, clasp your hands behind your head, interlace your fingers. Bring your elbows into the side of your face. Inhale, lift your head and shoulders off the floor. Curl your knee into your chest. Inhale, stretch it up. Exhale, lower to the floor. And do that, see if you can do that 10 times. If you have a sore back, do it with your knees bent. For the last one, lower gently to the floor and switch over to the other side. Curl your knee in, stretch it up. Breathing in, exhale, inhale, lower to the floor. Exhale, bring back up. Push through the heel of the other foot. Press the back of your right thigh into the floor. And gently release to the floor. From here, move into reclined child's pose. Bend both knees, bring both knees into your chest, and then hug your knees in. If you wish, roll gently from side to side, massaging your spine. Savasthana. Sva means I, and Adhisthasana is the place of the home. So in this pose, I think it's really epitomizes the whole of this practice. We're coming home to ourselves, home to our true identity, to who we really are in the world. And when we know who we are, that lends creativity to us, it lends us energy, and we begin to follow it. And release, and make your way now into child's pose. And come onto your knees, lower your head to the floor, and bring your arms by your sides and clasp your ankles, and just sink down. Again, turning your attention inwards. Take a couple of long breaths. Move to locust, hands bound, walk your hands forward, walk your knees back, lower your knees, chest, chin to the floor. Clasp your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers. Inhale, lift everything off the floor. Lift your head and shoulders, lift your arms off your back, lift your legs up, lift your gaze. If you can lift your arms 5 to 10% higher, now is the time to try it. And release. Moving into Dandasana. Place your hands, arms in cobra arms, turn your toes under, chin on the floor, chest on the floor, lift your hips off the floor. Walk your arms back so that your forearms are vertical, your elbows are pointing at the ceiling, gaze straight ahead. Release. From here, lift up into down dog. Turn your toes under, come onto your knees, lift your hips. Place your hands wider than your shoulders, grip the floor with your fingertips. Externally rotate your upper arms, lift your hips even higher. More doable, feet hip width apart. More difficult, feet together. Look at a point between your thumbs. Allow your heart to sink towards the floor. From here, moving into forearm lunge. Step your right foot forward, allow your back knee to come to the floor, top of your foot on the floor, and lower down onto your elbows. Clasp your hands, press your front foot into the floor. More doable, stay here, or lift your back knee off the floor. Press the top of your back foot into the floor, gaze straight ahead. And release that and switch to the other side. Lower down onto your elbows, back knee on the floor, easier. Lifting it off, a little bit more difficult. A lovely hip opening practice this morning in Svadhisthana. And release. here, place your hands slightly wider than your shoulders and step back into plank. Float your shoulders over your wrists, lift your head, look up. Squeeze your ankles together, engage your core. Lift your hips up and make your way to down dog. Grip the floor with your fingertips, externally rotate your upper arms, look at a point between your thumbs, lift your hips even higher. Invite your heart to come towards the floor. Walk your feet forward and come and stand at the front of your mat. Come into Tadasana. Press the 4 points of your feet into the floor. Squeeze your shins in. Lift your head, look up. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. Place your hands on the floor. Lift your head, look up. Exhale, lower your head, lift your right foot and walk to the back of the mat. Lift your head, look up. Step your left foot back to join your right foot and lower to the floor. Knees, chest, chin. Come through the gateway of your arms. Inhale up into cobra. Exhale into down dog. Inhale, right leg forward, look up. Exhale into forward fold, into half forward fold. Inhale into full forward fold. And exhale, lift your arms up and bring your hands back to your heart. And take 3 breaths. And we'll do that on the other side. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhaling into forward, half forward fold. Inhale into full forward fold. Step your left foot back. Hold your breath, step back into plank. Knees, chest, chin to the floor. Inhale up into cobra. Exhale into down dog. Inhale, left foot forward. Lunge. Exhale into forward fold, half forward fold. Inhale into full forward fold. And bring your hands to your heart. And take 3 breaths. Moving to the center of your mat. Moving into power pose, Utkatasana, lift your arms up overhead. Feet inner hip width apart, bend your knees, sink down, gaze straight ahead. Pressing into your ankles, engage your core. And press down and stand up. And we'll start into the big standing poses now. Moving into Trikonasana, step your feet wide apart and turn your right foot out. And this morning I'm going to use a block, so if you have a block, place it on the little toe side of your front foot. But you don't have to, you can do it without. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, look out over your right hand arm and lean forward and place your hand on the block. Lift your top arm up to vertical. Press the outside edge of your back foot into the floor. Engage your quads. Roll your left hip back. Draw your right buttock underneath. Stretch your spine from your hips to your armpits. Press down with the right hand into the floor. Turn your sit bones up. Press down, stand up and switch to the other side. Right foot in, left foot out. Place your block if you're using it. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. Place your hand on the block. Lift your top arm up. Engage your quads. Inhale, press down, stand up and switch again. Turn your left foot in, turn your right foot out. Moving into a half moon. Place your block towards the right hand corner of your mat. Step your feet together. Walking back to the middle of your mat. Lift your right arm up by your ear. Place your left hand on your hip. Take a big step forward with your right foot. Bend your knee, lean forward. Place your hand on the block. And you might like to walk that block forward a little bit so that it creates a space between your armpit and your hip. Turn the outside edge of your left foot up towards the ceiling. Lift your left arm up. Look up. Press down with the heel of the standing foot into the floor. Engage your quads. Push through your left heel. Inhale, release, and switch to the other side. Place your block. Walk back to the centre of your mat. Place your right hand on your hip. Lift your left arm up. Step forward with your left foot. Bend your left knee. Lean forward. Place your hand on the block. Lift your right leg out behind you. Turn the outside edge of your right foot up towards the ceiling. Lift your top arm up or place it on your hip if it's more comfortable, or if you have a shoulder giving you bother. Roll your ribs back. Lift your chest, stretch your spine. Press down with the heel of the left foot into the floor. And breathe out and release down. Moving into bound angle pose. Standing in the centre of your mat, step your feet wide apart. And turn your right foot out. Line up the root of your second toe with the middle of your foot. Your toes should be pointed towards the short end of the mat. The root of the second toe and both feet should be pointed towards the middle of your ankle. Clasp your hands behind your back, bend your elbows, place your hands on the small of your back. Engage your quads. Keeping that, bend your right knee and sink down. And then lean forward and bring your head to the floor, your right shoulder to the inside of your right knee. Inhale, lift your arms up, squeeze your hands together. More doable, wrists apart. More difficult, wrists together. Allow your head to drop. Look back between your legs. I see a good view of Tusi here, my cat, between my legs, sitting in the corner. Inhale, press down, straighten your legs, stand up. Turn your right foot in, turn your left foot out. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, bend your left knee. Just make sure that that the root of your second toe is pointing still towards the short end still towards your ankle. Inhale, lift your arms up, allow your head to drop. Inhale, press down, stand up, turn your left foot in. Make sure your toes are pointing towards the long edge of your mat. The root of both second toes are pointed towards the middle of your ankles. Place your hands on your hips. Lift your chest, stretch your spine. You can do this either with your knees slightly bent or with your legs straight, depending on how much flexibility you have in your hamstrings. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, hinging forward. Place your hands on the floor under your shoulders. Lift your head, look up. Squeeze your inner shins, your inner thighs, engage your quads, turn your sit bones up. Stretching from your hips to under your armpits, melt your heart, bring your attention to your breath. And exhale and hinge forward. Walk your hands back, line up your fingernails with your toenails, allow your head to drop. If it's available to you, allow your head to come nearer the floor. Place your hands on your hips, squeeze your elbows back, inhale, come up, and step your feet together. Moving into monkey lunge, walk to the back of your mat. Breathe in, lift your arms up. Step forward with your right foot. Bend your front knee. Bring the top of your foot onto the floor, then move your hips forward and down, lift your head, look up. Press the top of your back foot into the floor, flare your toes. Gently release and lower your forearms to the floor on the inside of your front foot. Clasp your hands together, lift your head, look up. Come back up onto your hands, turn your back toes under and step your right foot back and move through down dog. Step your left foot forward. Allow your back knee to come to the floor. Lift your hands off the floor. Lift your torso upright. Move your hips forward and down. Lift your head, look up. Flare your toes in your back foot. And gently release and lower your elbows to the floor. Clasp your hands together. Lift your head, look up. And place your weight on your hands, walk your hands back, come onto your hands and knees. And then moving into Pigeon Prep, lift your right knee, your right foot off the floor and slide it forward to the outside of your right hand. Walk your back knee back. Invite your front foot to come forward. Lower down onto your elbows. Clasp your hands, lift your head, look up. Stay here, more doable. More difficult, stretch all the way down, bring your head to the floor. Come up onto the tops of your fingers and lift the heel of your hands off the floor. Press your back foot into the floor, lift your back knee off the floor. That's more difficult, more doable. Keep your back knee on the floor. Inhale, stretching forward, exhale, sinking down. And gently release and make your way to the other side. Right knee back, left knee forward and out to the edge of the mat. Invite your front foot to come more forward. Walk your back leg back. Lower down onto your elbows, stay here. Or walk your hands forward. Bring your head to the floor, come up onto the tops of your fingers. Lift your back knee off the floor, flare your toes. And release. Make your way back to centre. Moving into cow face pose. Stretch your legs out. Cross your right thigh over your left thigh. More doable, keep your legs stretched out. More difficult, bend your knee and bring your heel to your hip. Stack one knee on top of the other. Press the outside edge of your feet into the floor. Lift your left arm and bend it and bring your hand down your back. Lift your right arm out to the side, reach back, bend your elbow and see if you can catch your other hand. This may not be possible, so you could use a strap. Point your top elbow at the ceiling. Press your sit bones into the floor. Stretch your spine, look up. And gently release and switch to the other side. Cross your left thigh over your right thigh. Press your sit bones into the floor. Lift your chest, stretch your spine. Reach your right arm up. Bend your elbow. Allow your hand to come down your back. Lift your left arm out to the side. Clasp both hands behind your back. Point your top elbow at the ceiling. Press down with your sit bones into the floor. Stretch from your hips to under your armpits. Move your ears back. And release. Moving to reverse table, Konasana. Place your hands behind you, turn your fingers out. Feet hip width apart. Inhale, lift your hips off the floor. Press down with your feet into the floor. Stretch from your hips to your armpits, from your knees to your shoulders. Broaden across your collarbones. Lift your head, look up. And release, come back to the mat. Moving to both big toe pose, Dandasana. Turn your feet up. Clasp your big toes with the first two fingers of each hand. Walk your feet back, your heels back slightly, and then lean back. Lift one leg out to the side, or you may only bring it halfway, and that's as far as you go today, and lift the other leg out to the side, and then stretch your legs up, lift your chest, stretch your spine. Initially bring them wide apart, breathing as you go, and then, more difficult, bring your legs together, lift your head, look up. And bend your knees and gently lower to the floor. So if you fell over there, which often happens in my classes, when I was doing this pose first, I always used to fall over. So my thing was fall over 7 times, get up 8. Just keep trying it and it comes eventually. Moving to bridge pose, Setu Bandha, Sarvangasana, feet hip width apart, lift your hips off the floor. Walk your arms in underneath, clasp your hands together, press down with your feet into the floor, lift your hips up, lift your chest up, press your head into the floor, lift your chin out of your chest. And again, just checking, is the root of your second toe pointing towards the middle of your ankle? We often have feet that go walkabout in this pose. And from here, moving into building bridge, walk your right foot forward, walk your left foot forward, keeping your hips up, press the toes into the floor, squeeze your shins together, your inner thighs, lift your hips up, press your head. endeavouring to bring your toes to the floor with your legs straight. And release, allowing your hips to come to the floor. Walk your feet back, walk them out towards the edges of the mat. Allow your knees to come together. And then place your hands on your abdominal area, palms down. Bring your index fingers together, pointing towards your pubic bone, thumbs pointing towards your navel, and just rest. The second chakra, Svadhisthana, is about change in our lives and our ability to change and the fluidity to move with the changes that are coming and to be at ease with the change. Not this, not that. To be unattached to the outcome of things. Realizing it's a changing world we live in, a fluid, changing, nothing is rigid, nothing is set in stone. And water is the great symbol of this chakra. And water brings change. Stretch your legs out and come and sit up. Moving into Dandasana, staff pose. Place your hands by your hips. More doable, feet hip width apart. More difficult, feet together. Press down with the heels of your hands into the floor. Press your sit bones. Stretch from your hips to your armpits. Press the backs of your thighs into the floor. Squeeze your inner thighs, your inner shins, your heels towards each other. Lift your head. Gaze straight ahead. Broaden across your collarbones. Invite your shoulder blades onto your back. Engage your quads. Moving into an intense east stretch. Walk your hands back, turn your hands out 45 degrees. Inhale, lift your hips off the floor, bring your toes to the floor. Press your knees down, broaden across your collarbones, lift your head, look up. Endeavouring to bring your toes to the floor, keep squeezing your legs together. And release. Make your way into garland pose. So come into squat and walk your feet out towards the edges of the mat. And again here we're trying to keep our heels flat on the floor. That's not always available for everyone. So what you can do is you can use a block. I have one I prepared earlier here. You can place the block under your ankles like so. And then stretching forward between your legs, stretch your arms out, palms facing each other. Turn your thumbs down and then bring your arms around your sides and clasp your ankles. Squeeze your inner knees together. Allow your head to drop. Keep squeezing your knees into your shoulders. And the natural one to follow this is of course crane pose. Place your hands on the floor in front of you, hands slightly wider than shoulder width apart, and then squeeze your knees into your upper arms, lean forward, lift your hips up, see if you can lift one foot off the floor, see if you can lift the other foot off the floor, squeeze your knees into your elbows, return to your breath. and gently release. From here, making our way into seated angle pose. Stretch both legs out and roll your inner thighs towards each other. And then stretch your spine, so expanding before we contract, hinging forward, and bring your elbows to the floor. If this isn't working for you at all, you can take your block and place it here. If it's still very tight in the hamstrings and inner hamstrings, make the block as high as you need to. Yeah? Or simply just place your hands on your knees and lean slightly forward. So press through your heels, press the backs of your legs into the floor, squeeze your inner shins, your inner thighs towards each other, gaze straight ahead. Inhale and come back up. Moving into noose prep. Bend both knees, place your heels in front of your hips. Place your right hand on the floor behind you. Again, I often like to use a block here because it gets me up a little bit higher. Lift your left arm up, cross your body, bring it to the outside of your knee. More doable, keep your arm like this. More difficult, just bend it slightly. Then draw your right shoulder back, your right ribs back. Look over your back shoulder. Press elbows into knee, knee into elbows. Press sit bones down. Broaden across your collarbones. Initiating your twist from the lower part, left hand side of your abdomen. And switch to the other side. Lift your right arm up, cross your body, bring the elbow to the outside of the knee. More doable way of doing this is stretch your right leg out. Makes it just slightly easier. Press elbow into knee, knee into elbow, draw left shoulder back, look back over left shoulder. Press your sit bones down. Moving from here into Janushavasana, stretch both legs out, bend your right knee and bring your heel into your hip. And then keeping a space between the sole of your foot and the upper inner thigh of your left leg, lift your arms up, turn out over your left leg and hinging forward. And again, you may wish to just bring your hands to your shin or your foot or your ankle, wherever you are. That you can also use a strap. Press through your left heel, inhale, stretch up, exhaling, sinking forward. Press the back of your left thigh into the floor. Hello, Tusi. Come sit down now. Come sit. Tusi wants to join the practice. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, sink down. Inhale, come back up and switch to the other side. Bend your left knee, bring your heel into your hip, stretch your right leg out. Lift your arms up, inhale, stretch up. Exhaling, hinging forward. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, sinking forward. Inhale, come back up to centre. And come and kneel up. Moving into camel pose, Bakasana. You can do this by placing your hands on your hips or reaching back and clasping your heels. So set yourself up first, knees hip width apart, tops of your feet onto the floor. And then moving your hips forward, stretch from your hips to your armpits. And then lift your head, look up. And either keep your hands here or lift your right arm up and place it on your heel behind you. Left arm up and place that on the heel. Push your hips forward. Stretch from your hips to your armpits. Squeeze your inner heels towards each other. Tighten your glutes. Flare your toes. Inhale, place your hands on your hips and make your way back up to center. From here, we're going to archer pose. Stretch your right leg out and clasp the big toes with the first two fingers, placing the two fingers between the big toe and the next toe. And then clasp the big toe of the left foot and lean over onto your right hip. Take your weight, bring your left shin parallel to the ceiling and draw that left knee back, archer pose. And release, and over onto the other side. Stretch your left leg out, clasp your left big toe with the first two fingers of your left hand, bend your right knee, bring your heel in closer to your right hip, shift your weight onto your left hip and lift your right foot off the floor, shin parallel to the ceiling and draw it back behind you. Be as upright as possible. Keep drawing that right foot back. Keep pressing down with the left leg into the floor. And release down. Moving into thread the needle, or needle's eye, it's also known as. Come and lie on your back. Bend your knees, feet hip width apart. Lift your right foot, bring the outside edge of your right foot to the top of your left knee. You can stay here. Or lift your left knee off the floor, bring it into your chest, thread your hands between your legs, make both feet active. Push your heels away, draw your toes back. Press your lower back into the floor. Invite your shoulder blades onto your back. Release that foot to the floor and switch to the other side. Lift your left foot, place it on your knee. Bring your knee into your chest. Make both feet active. Press your lower back, your head. Be with your breath. And release. From here, moving into double diamond. Walk your feet out to the edges of the mat. Feet hip width apart. And allow your knees to come down to the right hand side. Look away from your knees. Inhale, come back to center and switch to the other side. Inhale back to center and bring both knees into your chest and come once more back to where we started, reclining child's pose. Back to the only me there is. grateful that life has chosen to show up in my body today. And prepare yourself for relaxation. Begin to deepen your breathing. Bring your awareness back into your body and onto the mat. Begin to awaken your body by moving your hands, your feet. Perhaps give yourself a little bit of a stretch. And when you're ready, bend your knees, roll to one side, and make your way to sitting. To honour ourselves, each other, the practice, we close with one Om. But before I do, just to honour the changes that are occurring for us as we speak, and to welcome the change into our lives, and knowing that we can have access to the energy from this second chakra by practicing a sequence such as this. Exhale, inhale. Om. Thanks for practicing, thanks for coming to practice, and see you on the mat.